So now I will hand over to Dr. Arne Panesar. He's the head of the sector program Sustainable Sanitation at GIZ. And I've known Arne for many years, not for as long as the 20 years that he's been working in the sector, in sustainable development projects with a strong focus on sustainable sanitation. And the sector program that he's working for and is leading is also where the Sustainable Sanitation Alliance is hosted. This is where basically our live stream is being advertised by. This is where we're trying to outreach with the results. This is where we hope you will later engage to download all the presentations, documents, and also be able to upload and give further insights into documents. So I hand over to Arne to explain how can we engage and what does SuSanA want to contribute.
Thank you, Thilo. I think my short glimpses will have, thanks for the watch, will have 3 dimensions. One is, what is that strange animal SuSanA? It does something, and we didn't find a similar knowledge management meta network in the nutrition sector. So if you hear about it, let us know. I think that's going nicely. Second is, how could the portal of SuSanA as a whole be of service for the nutrition sector? Either there are lots of tools, mechanisms, things developed here over the last years, which we would be happy to share with others who have websites and want to develop something similar. And we could discuss, is it better there or here, or how to jointly develop something. Thirdly, there is a working group. SuSanA lives of the working groups and of the sort of, in the start, and I'll talk about that a bit, we said that we won't do additional work. We won't do theoretical work that somebody has to do. We'll check who has work on its table, and if 2 parties have the same work on their table, maybe 1 and 1 is more than 2. And there might be other topics very important, but nobody has them on the table, so we have to live with it that it won't happen. So that's the working group 12 who came into being in 2010. Was Wash and Nutrition, and I remember very much at the World Urban Forum when Robert Chambers had one paper and said, we have to look at this, we have to look at this, and that was Wash and Nutrition. And I'm very happy that we could take up that trend and be of service as well to this new topic, to have it and have a working group. So the third thing is that what could the working group Wash and Nutrition take up from here, but it would need people who then do it. So what's that animal SuSanA? One difference between nutrition and sanitation is in sanitation you have to break the taboo. It's easy to talk about babies need food, but to talk about toilets, Uschi Eid yesterday was telling it what a discussion it was to even address the word toilet if there is a prince in the room at the UN. So that's the one task we as well had, and we talked about Nepal. In Nepal, the ministerial provoked a TV evening series, and one topic was the bride is refusing the husband if he doesn't have a toilet. No toilet, no bride. And we made 2 years back a competition of cartoonists in India, and one cartoonist took up this topic, no toilet, no bride. So that's important as a door opener in sanitation. It might not be in nutrition. And that's as well how maybe SuSanA started, because it started in 2007 before the International Year of Sanitation. Our idea was now lots of money will be poured into the sector, and the past was that maybe 50% of the supply-driven toilets were not used, were misused, were dysfunctional after a few weeks. So if you just supply some toilets and you don't do the understanding, the awareness raising, the behavior change, all these other things, if you don't have a common idea what sustainable sanitation is, maybe in the international year, my horror vision was always you build a toilet, you pollute the lake of the village, and then more people, more children die then, so that there could be an adverse. So that brought us together to say, we don't make a new institution, we don't do work that we don't have to do in any case, but let us see where we can agree on. Let us sit together. So that was the starting point. So SuSanA then developed into an open network with members who are dedicated to understanding what actually sustainable sanitation is. We started discussing heavily about a vision document with a definition on the sustainability aspects, and that has been taken up broadly and has, I think, influenced the discourse quite a bit. It had always a strong link to people who are doing things on the ground. It could link activities on the ground to more, let's say, UN level and more theoretical discussions with the universities and so on. But I think it was a strength of the network from the beginning that it had so that the contact to what's happening on the ground. And it aims at promoting innovation, best practices in policy programming and implementation. And Robert Chambers and his paper was, for me, one example that SuSanA could be the platform to give space to a new idea and to let it grow. In the beginning, we were about 15 organizations, and it has grown to now more than 250 organizations. And we have started a forum, new technologies coming. A few years back, forum discussions were started, and we have now about 5,700 individual members for these forum discussions. As I said, in the beginning we said, actually, what do we need to work on? Then many people were putting up these kind of cards. We need this, we need capacity development, we need the link between, if there's biogas, it can kill the atmosphere. If you use biogas from fecal matter, it could as well be used. So we need renewable energies, climate change, and other topics. And then we made a second round. So if you stand up now, you'll be the one running this topic. So only stand up if you really are doing it. And we were surprised that we had quite a number of working groups from the beginning and people active going for it. And some of them, like sanitation in emergencies, were silent for a number of years. We always said, it's important, little bit happened, but not too much. That had changed about maybe 4 years back, that suddenly this topic, there were as well people who could do it. So, and wash and nutrition is as well one of the youngest topics we had as a working group. Yes, so like this we generated products and outputs. The meetings were for coordination in the beginning, but were felt to be very useful to understand what partners can do together. And as I said, it helped to actually define what sustainable sanitation is. That was not the case in 2007. We collected a number of case studies, and each working group had the task to make a fact sheet about his topic, 4 pages, so that you get some initial ideas what's going on there. And we had developed to be a sounding board for key publications, and institutions liked to expose drafts of their publications to the SuSanA meeting, and then like this get feedback and make their publications known and have SuSanA as a sounding board. And as it was growing, knowledge management, the library, the project database, videos, and the photo database were things we as well provided as a service to the sector. This is just illustrating the meetings. Many were in Stockholm because that's the family meeting of the sector. And then we try to have one meeting a year somewhere in the south, back to another meeting where many people have to travel in any case. Okay, this is again numbers, many newsmail subscribers on Facebook, Twitter, forum subscribers, and a website that's nicely visited and used. And as well now members from many countries. What started with cooperation and with working groups has transformed more into the aspect of knowledge management, the discussion forum and the library, so it's more a portal now. I don't go through this mission statement in the beginning. I underline here only, it has, from the beginning we said that if 2 parties have something to do, if here in the room a nutritionist and a wash specialist find a synergy and say, if we do it together, it's more, then this is the platform to help you to do it. So it's the partners, the individuals work with their own money and time, but this is the platform where they can work, and where the secretariat, which from the beginning was supported by the German government, who said this is a good initiative for the international year, is helping that it can happen. Okay, strategic topics. As it has grown so much, the working group leads and some enthusiastic individuals became core group members. And I think the SDGs from the core group, I think that's something where we said we should look into it. Something will be decided, and we have to see what does it mean on the ground. It will guide us in the next 15 years minimum. And I think it's useful, and it could be a synergy if we have some of the discussions together. If we see, are there overlaps? Where are the overlaps? What is the most striking point? We already mentioned yesterday monitoring. We both have to do monitoring. I don't think it's useful to have a thesis about monitoring, but if we can have a speed dating of a nutrition project and a sanitation wash project, and they try to understand actually what do we have to do in any case in monitoring and further down in information, education and communication, are there synergies? Maybe you discover something and both projects are better after. So I think if we find a format to allow for the speed dating, we'd love to do. We mentioned several times again, behavior change is a joint focal area. So let's look at it together. Maybe we find as well some striking points, and health is a joint aim. Sanitation and nutrition was identified by the core group as a strategic topic 2 years back, and that as well helped us to come together and to be here. One format where we could have these discussions is a thematic discussion on the SuSanA Forum, which would be a prepared, structured effort, that you don't post just your forum threads, but that you think, what do we want to discuss, that you have 2 weeks where you discuss it, and after you have a grey paper that might help you how to go forward. And we have foreseen this for the first half of the next year, but it needs you to make it a good thing. Yes, I repeat the beginning. There's the dimension of the working group 12. We had a meeting on Tuesday evening and had some concrete small actions that definitely will happen. And Stefan Simon might embark on that later, or you talk to him. And we have the bigger dimension. This is a portal. It has developed a number of tools, and if you know somebody in the nutrition sector who could make use of it, welcome. Thank you.
Thank you very much, Arne. I look to the floor and I see some hands. We'll begin back there. And please do state your name and organization. Okay. Even if it's being repeated, it's important for the people at home.
My name is Alexander Hüse from the Austrian Red Cross. And I was wondering, since way back then, there was a water sector, and sanitation enthusiasts, they somehow started an uphill battle to make the water sector the wash sector. And I'm wondering whether we could learn on this process, how this battle was won, to also better integrate nutrition into our wash activities.
Okay. Well, that's quite a fundamental question. I'd like to have a thematic discussion on that. No, but what I learned is that we started in, let's say, 2006 from the thought process, and then really going for it in 2007. And the term wash was introduced in 2008. I think it's a good sign that you bring more and more aspects on board to have a more holistic picture. But there's always the danger if you don't let the sectors be strong at their own. Somebody said it yesterday. You need a specialist for nutrition. You might need a specialist for sanitation, and one for hygiene, and one for water. And if nobody is the specialist for all of it, so you need the strong sectors, and then you can build the roof, not the other way around. You cannot kill the pillars and think the roof alone will fly.
But I think this comment also has to teach us to have a bit of patience. Yeah? Because I think, and thanks for pointing it out again, I mean, the German Wash Network had an event several years ago, co-convening with SuSanA at the Stockholm World Water Week, or even before, as Uschi had said yesterday at the Nexus conference. And it's taken some time to reach this momentum, and now there's the World Toilet Day with a motto. Now we're gathering here, and everyone here is part of that movement. So in order to maybe pose this question of, because it was on the board and I mentioned it this morning, since this type of platform, as far as we've gathered, does not exist sort of within the nutrition sector, with a forum where people can ask questions with such a big group of people interested in engaging, what does the nutrition sector require, or how do you engage, use what SuSanA has to offer?
Yes, and maybe then we can go to the meeting of the working group 12 on Tuesday. We said that we have a fact sheet. The fact sheet was produced quite from the wash people. So let's look at it in the presence of more nutrition experts. It has a strong evidence focus. The call was there for more advocacy, for more others. So is it the next fact sheet or how to it? So maybe that's sort of in a stepwise approach could help to bring nutrition more clearly to the table and to integrate it systematically.
Okay. Hello everyone, my name is Teresa Jeremias from CARE Germany, Luxembourg. I think what it can contribute is gathering the evidence. I mean, we're talking about evidence all the time, best practices. You have it also there as an objective of the portal, I suppose. So, I mean, bringing it, you know, in a way, distributing the evidence, showing best practices, where did it work well, the integration of wash and nutrition is definitely something which, you know, the SuSanA can do and which is a good starting point. I think this will also help and attract more, I mean, nutritionists, you know, make it more widely known and then, you know, just bring it forward, not only talking about the integration, but seeing how it works and how we can really make a big step forward.
Okay.
And you alluded to a discussion series. I think SuSanA will be embarking on, I don't know if you want to say something to the...
It's sort of, we've noted it that it would be useful to have one in the first half of 2016. But let's see what's the follow-up of this meeting, how much is the demand and how we can sort of concretize it and with what set of organizations or experts. But I think it deserves it.
Yeah. Yeah. And I think it's a clear offer to everyone that is here. Obviously, when you receive the documentation, and you can go to the SuSanA website to download all the documents and to perhaps even suggest further documents that should be uploaded here to make it more complete. I think there will also be in the forum perhaps the opportunity to discuss what issues the two sectors should discuss going forward from here. Okay.
Okay.
Thank you for offering.
Thanks.
For making this offer to the sector. Applause, please.